So in my last theory video, I talked about the puppet and everything concerning the blob. I recommend checking out that video if you haven't yet. But one thing I didn't give an answer on is Circus Baby. Why is she in the blob? Is she even active? The reason I didn't talk about Baby in the last video is because I think she deserves a theory in her own right. I think Eleanor, the main villain in the Stitch line, is canon to the game universe, but not quite the same way she appears in the books. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video on the truth behind Eleanor. Eleanor is a very interesting character in the Fazbear Fright series. She is the main antagonist in the second Fazbear Fright story, To Be Beautiful. She's found in a scrapyard by the main character Sarah. When Sarah finds Eleanor, she says she feels like she needs to pay Sarah back, so she promises to make one of Sarah's wishes come true. Sarah wishes to be beautiful. Every day when Sarah wakes up, she finds that a certain part of her body has changed and apparently looks more beautiful. Eleanor gives Sarah a heart-shaped pendant and tells her that she must never take it off. At the end of the story, Sarah slips and falls, and her necklace falls off. This reveals that Sarah's body has been cut into pieces and replaced with scrapped robot parts. People see this happen and freak out, understandably. Sarah tries to run home, but the feeling of her legs being scrap metal makes it difficult for her to move, which is probably a reference to Mike and Sister Location. When she finally makes it home, she finds wet bags full of her own body parts cut off with precision, all stuffed into a bag. Eleanor reveals herself, and with her own pendant, she suddenly becomes Sarah. Then she walks out the door, and that's basically the end of the story. The book seems to make it clear that these pendants have illusion discs inside them. Eleanor uses these illusion discs to become Sarah. This is pretty strange though. A few weeks later, the first Stitch Race story takes place, and Sarah is missing. How is she missing if Eleanor is using Sarah's body? It's weird, but whoever Eleanor kills, they go missing, I guess. Keep that in mind. The interesting thing about this is that in the 10th Stitch Race story, which came out nearly 2 years after the first book, it's revealed that Eleanor actually did the same thing with a bunch of other teenagers. Kids. Eleanor is also very manipulative. She gains the kids' trust. She does one thing suspicious, like watching them sleep, but for some reason when this is discovered, she is still trusted. Then in the end, she betrays them. Doesn't this sound familiar? It's the story of Baby in Sister Location. She gains Michael's trust, then she kidnaps him, but Mike still trusts her for some reason. Then she betrays him. Eleanor also does this again later on with Jake. That is all a huge connection with Baby, but let's not forget that she is designed similarly to Baby, just with a slimmer body and a long neck for some reason. That's how she got the nickname Giraffe Baby. But anyway, Eleanor is basically a Circus Baby stand-in for the books, and before Security Breach came out, MatPat theorized that Baby would be the main villain of Security Breach after Afton. Originally, a lot of us dismissed the theory because we expected Afton and Vanny to be the main villains for the whole game, and we were right about that. Baby wasn't the main villain of Security Breach. But after the game came out, it's seeming more and more possible that Baby will be the villain going forward. One of the bigger mysteries in Security Breach is a collection of 16 retro CDs you can find scattered around the Pizzaplex. You can only find this post-game when you have Roxy's eyes. When you get close to a CD, it will appear, and when you get out of Freddy, it will still be there and you can collect it. But they only spawn when you walk close to one while inside Freddy with Roxy's eyes upgraded onto him. But the way to listen to these CDs is pretty interesting. You see, from around 4 AM and onwards, Gregory goes looking for a way to defend himself from the animatronics as well as a way to destroy them and take their parts and upgrade Freddy with them. As I said earlier, Roxy's eyes allow you to see collectibles. Monty's claws and Chica's voice box allow you to open certain types of gates, but both open a different kind of gate. Chica's voice box can also scare away animatronics. At 4 AM, you have to choose whether you go and get the Phaser Blaster and take down Chica, or the Phazcam and Monty, but after you make it to 6, you can choose to stay and go back and destroy whichever animatronic you haven't beaten yet. Once you have beaten all 3 animatronics, you can go back to the very beginning of the game and go down to the utility tunnels. Keep going on the path you went when you played the first time, and get to the area with the chase sequence. At the beginning, Monty busted out of a Monty gate, but now that gate is open and you can go through the smoke. You can find a little hallway there, and there's another Monty gate there, and with Freddy, you can bust through it. After that, there's a Cheek gate you can go through with Freddy. After that, there's a few stairs, and then what seems to be a dead end. But if you look at the wall, you can actually see that there's a door there. If you take out your fast cam and flash the wall, that's a weird sentence, a really small door opens up, and inside is...
Oh my This is sister location!
It's Michael's room.
What the
Through the door is Mike's room from Sister Location, one of the weirdest parts of the game, but also one of the most interesting. See, many people are saying that this is a replica of Mike's room, but I actually believe this is the original. I think Mike's house is actually under the Pizzaplex, just like FNaF 6. There's a couple of reasons behind this. First of all, why would Fazbear Entertainment have any desire to build this? Like, it's not relevant to Freddy's at all, it's just Mike's house. But the bigger piece of evidence actually comes from Steelwool themselves.
What's really cool about the cartoons, actually, is that if you've been paying close attention to them, you're already playing Security Breach.
Okay.
This clip was in Daco's interview with Steelwool. They said that we've already technically played Security Breach, and now it's revealed that the reason behind this is that we've played in this room before. But if this is a replica, then technically we haven't played in this room before. Another thing is that I actually believe FNaF 6 is a repurposed Fredbear's Family Diner, the same one from FNaF 4, and it would make a lot of sense for Mike's house to be nearby. But anyways, that part isn't really relevant to this theory, it's just a side note I wanted to mention. But anyways, in this room is a CD player. When you have the CDs, you can listen to them. The weird thing about them, though, is that when you first listen to them, at first it seems like it's talking to Vanessa the whole way through. We know it's Vanessa due to the first tape literally calling out her name, and her speaking in some tapes. But then if you listen to them again and really think about them, you can realize that they are actually two different people, Patient 71 and Patient 46. We know Patient 71 is Vanessa from her name being explicitly stated in the first CD. From the Patient 71 CDs, it's made clear that Vanessa is Vanny from these lines.
I try to do what I'm supposed to do. I can't talk about this. He said he would always be watching.
Another interesting thing that shows these two are separate characters and not just two personalities is this line.
What bothers me about what I read is that the messages you're getting seem very manipulative in nature.
Now at first it may seem like this is Afton messaging her. That was our original thought when we found out about this stuff in the FNaF AR emails, and William is possessing Vanessa. But these messages aren't from Afton, these messages are from Patient 46. Fast forward to CD 15, the therapist says this line.
Thing is, when I read the communications, I get something different out of them. I don't think you're being manipulated here. I think you're the one doing the manipulating.
Patient 46 is the one sending these messages to Vanessa. I used to think Patient 46 was telling the therapist the same past Vanessa tells, but I don't think so anymore. You see, the therapist says something tragic happened to Patient 46's parents, but the story Vanessa tells only shows something bad happening to the mother, not both parents. Not only that, but the story that Patient 46 tells is hinted to not actually belong to Patient 46. The final CD confirms that the story was a lie, but CD 6 hints at the story being someone else's.
I'd like to start by talking about your parents. What happened to them and you was tragic, but when I looked through the notes, I didn't get a sense that you've processed that emotionally. When I read your account of what happened, it came across as, well, more of an objective rather than a subjective narrative. Oh, sorry. You don't know what that means, do you? What I mean is that the way you told the story is more like you were reading something from a book than you were talking about your own past.
Apparently, Patient 46 telling the story seemed more like them reading off a script. It's also heavily implied throughout the CDs that Patient 46 is a child, or at the very oldest, a teenager. But they don't know what subjective or objective means, they ask for candy when they come in, and apparently their chair doesn't really fit them. Whether this means the chair is too small or too big is unclear, but based on those couple other things, it seems more like it's too big, and that Patient 46 is a kid. So, what do we know about Patient 46? They're a kid, or maybe in their early teens, and they are manipulative and send Vanessa messages. They lie about their past and use someone else's past as their own. Considering they are the one manipulating Vanessa and they aren't Afton, they seem like they will be the future villain of FNaF. And I think all of that clearly screams at us that Patient 46 is Eleanor. First of all, Eleanor in the books kills kids and uses illusion discs to appear as them, so it's definitely possible that she goes to the therapy sessions with someone else's appearance, and she is also possessed by a little girl, which explains why they also act like a kid. Next is the manipulation and lying. Guys, this clearly makes sense to be Circus Baby and Eleanor. I mean, I don't think I even have to explain it since I kind of already did earlier. The fact that Patient 46 lies and uses someone else's past as their own is exactly what Eleanor does. She uses a random girl's body and then uses the past of Renelle as her own. This could also explain why the past was found to be fake, because the therapist would have done digging into the girl Eleanor would have been playing as, and maybe she told the past of someone else she took over rather than the one whose body she's using, like Eleanor does in the books with Renelle and the other girl that she appears as for Jake. It would also explain the fake past Vanessa talks about. Like I said before, Patient 46 is the one messaging Vanessa, and if Eleanor really is Elizabeth, at least partially, it's possible that she was the one to give Vanessa a fake past. The fact that the father's name was Bill, aka William, and there was a divorce and an incident with the mother, it seems to be the past of one of the Afton children, and it is not unlikely at all that it would be Elizabeth's past. In tape 15, it's talked about that she also likes the idea of being invisible and being able to get away with anything.
You like the idea of being disguised? Disguises let you be sort of invisible, don't they? You can get away with almost anything when you're invisible, can't you? Yeah, you like that idea, huh?
Another interesting thing is that Patient 46 was seen in the Pizzaplex talking to someone with rabbit ears, probably Vanny. The interesting part of this, though, is that the image was stated to be distorted. But what if it's not actually the image that's distorted? In the fourth closet, Baby uses illusion discs to look more like Charlie, but in photos, she looked distorted because of the illusion discs. They use sound, which doesn't work quite as well in a photograph. So that's the theory. Eleanor is Patient 46 and is manipulating Vanessa to act like her. She's also the one who Vanessa's fake past belongs to, and she also kills the therapists that look too deep into her past. But the question is, how does Eleanor exist if Baby's body is inside the blob? Well, it goes back to the main topic of this trilogy of theories, the circuit boards. As we've talked about in the Mrs. Afton and Blob videos, Fazbear Entertainment scanned the circuit boards of the remaining FNAF 6 scrap animatronics and sent them to Silver Parasol to use on the VR game, which creates Glitch Trap. But we know Fazbear Entertainment would have scanned all of the scrap animatronics, not just Afton. So it's possible that some of the circuit boards from the Blob containing Mrs. Afton's spirit were inside the novelty glasses mentioned by Dread Unit at the beginning of the game, which could be what Dance With Me was trying to tell us. Other circuit boards containing the puppet spirit could have been used on the staff bots, but how would Elizabeth's spirit get into another body? Well, we know from To Be Beautiful and the later epilogues that Eleanor uses illusion discs. Is it possible that Circus Baby's circuit boards were used on the Circus Baby staff bots we see at the ice cream parlor in Bonnie Bowl? It seems possible. What could have happened was Elizabeth took control of the staff bot and used illusion discs to appear more like Eleanor in the books. She possibly also killed kids and used their bodies, eventually going on to become Patient 46. This part of the theory is more speculative, but it is possible. I just think that in some way, circuit boards with Elizabeth's spirit in them were put into some other body, and she uses illusion discs to look more human. And I think Security Breach is setting up Eleanor, or a game counterpart of Eleanor, to be the main villain in a DLC, or possibly even the next FNAF game. But anyways guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my theory or if you have some other idea. But anyway, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.